So any of you that follow Poison Spider know that we really are big fans of the rigid lights. And we're here at the rigid booth with Ryan, and they have 150 new part numbers they're introducing here at SEMA. But we're standing in front of kind of the meat and potatoes of the lights that kind of apply to the Jeep market. The first one we're looking at, they introduced it at Expo, which is the radius light. And the radius is cool, not so much for the Jeep because the Jeeps are pretty square, but it's cool for all of us that have a truck. It not only fits the contour of the windshield, but it also gives you a much better light pattern, right, Ryan?
Correct. What that does is we use an all-spot optic in this light, and it allows you now, though, to have like a flood-type beam pattern. So instead of everything being concentrated right to the forward face of the truck, you're now creating a flood pattern to be able to see the upcoming turns, the corners, and all the sides of the road and everything else like that.
And you don't realize how important that is. If you just have a spotlight right and directly in front of you, you have no idea if there's a curve coming up, or if there is a curve, you don't know what is beyond that curve. So pretty cool idea. I love that. Like actually in our race car, we used to have the A-pillar lights pointed out to kind of do exactly what this radius light's doing now. I also noticed that on this 10-inch, there's a little bit different optics. What's up with those?
Yeah, this is our new combo. It's got the hyperspot optics in the center of the light with the drives out on the outside edges. Again, it's going to be a little bit more higher performance out of the center with a wider coverage onto the sides of the light itself. This is also our new two-piece housing on the 10-inch. You can see here it allows for a better cooling surface with the fins being this way, as well as only having the front bezel as a one-piece with the back housing. So it's going to be a little bit stronger and more durable light also.
And what I noticed in driving I never had a car that really I could outdrive the LEDs. I've always had a Jeep that was designed for rock crawling, so I didn't have a lot of up travel, and I never had the opportunity to outdrive it. Well, I was driving a wide open Baja car this week, and they have the ability to outdrive an LED, and I didn't realize, the LEDs that were on that car, they had the ability to outdrive it. It wasn't a rigid light. Really kind of missed I really now appreciate the idea of what you guys have done here to get the light to shine further out than, and I think Jeeps now have more wheel travel, they're getting more up travel, they're starting to go a little bit faster, people are putting motors in it, so having a light that shines a little bit farther might be pretty important to guys that like to go fast now. But also having this, so you can see the stuff right in front of you, is pretty cool too. Yep. And what are these down here at the bottom?
So these here are the Q series. It's going to allow you to have, again, some combinations of light in a different perspective, where you can do, like this one for example, have the driving pattern up on the top side, and then you can do a diffuse lens down on the bottom. So you're getting two different versions of that light output and how that light's going to perform for you. It's also available in an all drive, an all spot, or it's got the hyper spot here with the drive on the bottom. So similar to the patterns here, but again, the light is going to be a little bit more output and more concentrated into one certain area rather than being spread out.
So like this combination would be a great trail combination. You got the flood, so it's right in front of you, diffused. You see all the stuff right in front of you, but this also gives you a little bit of throw where you can see a little bit further down the trail.
Yep.
Very cool. And these can kind of be, if you didn't have the radius bar, you could put these on your bumper and kind of point them out, I'm guessing too, right? To have some, to kind of see around the corners. And what's new about the 10 inches here in the middle?
The SR series also is going to get some of what the E series did, where we were going to have the combination here of a hyper spot in the center with the drives out on the outside edges of it. So again, it's just a smaller, sleeker version of our E series here. And again, all these are going to be available all the way up to a 50-inch bar.
Very cool. And I noticed walking around the show that there's a ton of rigid lights, but I also noticed that there's a ton of people that must have been you must be very flattered this year, I guess, because there's a ton of lights that look a lot like the rigid lights. I'm glad that you put some branding in here so you can actually tell that these are rigid lights without having to walk. I mean, they've done such a great job of knocking your lights off that it's hard to tell until you walk up. So very cool to see the branding on there. I'm proud to be a rigid light owner. And I want everybody to know that I'm running rigid lights. So looks cool. I know you got a ton of their stuff here, and I know you guys are really busy, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk with us. We'll come by and check you out while the show's going, and thank you, Ryan, again for your time.
You bet. Thank you very much, and we appreciate having you be part of the Rigid Torture team.
Thank you, and we do torture them. Thanks.